Have you ever looked back at your life and felt like you missed it? Meet Eleanor, a 68-year-old retired school teacher in a quiet town in Ohio. She lived alone in a modest house with ivy crawling up the porch railings. Every morning, she brewed a cup of ginger tea, sat by the window in her creaky wooden chair, and watched the sun stretch across her backyard. The birds chirped, the trees danced gently in the breeze, but inside Eleanor's heart, there was stillness, a kind of emptiness, not loud, just quiet. Her husband had passed away 6 years earlier. Her son and daughter were busy with their own lives, career, kids, schedules. Phone calls came, but rarely. Visits, even less. Eleanor spent her days tidying bookshelves, watering plants, flipping through TV channels she didn't care about. But everything changed because of a dusty notebook. One afternoon, while cleaning an old cabinet in the attic, she found it. A brown, fragile notebook with edges that had turned yellow with time. It smelled like the pages had been waiting for someone to remember them. She sat down, brushed off the dust, and opened it. And right there, on the first page, in her own handwriting from decades ago, "My bucket list. Visit Paris and see the Eiffel Tower. Write a book of short stories, learn how to swim." Her breath caught. A flood of memories hit her. She had written that list at 25, bright-eyed, newly married, dreaming big. She remembered the exact moment, sitting in her college dorm, excited for life. But then, life happened. Marriage, bills, kids, work. 1 year passed, then 5, then 30. "I'll do it later," she had always said. Now, 43 years later, her knees ached from just getting out of bed. The doctor had warned her against long flights. Her hands trembled when she held a pen. And swimming? Her heart couldn't handle the exertion anymore. She stared at the list. Tears slipped down her cheek and fell onto the faded ink. "I waited too long," she whispered to herself. That evening, she did something different. She left the house, walked to the neighborhood park for the first time in months. The air smelled like earth after rain. Children laughed on the swings, dogs barked, life moved. She sat on a bench, watching a young girl nearby sketching in her notebook. "What are you drawing?" Eleanor asked gently. The girl looked up, a little shy, and said, "A story. I want to make a book one day." Eleanor smiled. "I wanted that too, long ago." The girl tilted her head. "Why didn't you?" That question hit her like a stone. "I thought I had time," Eleanor replied. "I kept waiting, but time never waited for me." The girl paused, then said something simple, but unforgettable. "You can still write. You told me a story just now." That night, Eleanor couldn't sleep. The little girl's voice echoed in her mind. "You can still write." At dawn, she pulled out a fresh notebook, not the old one filled with what could have been, but a clean one, full of what could still be. On the first page, she wrote, "New bucket list. Write short stories for children, read books about Paris, teach swimming theory even if I can't swim myself." She smiled to herself. "I may never see the Eiffel Tower, but I can visit it through stories. I may never swim again, but I can help kids who can. I may be older, but I'm not done living." From that day, every morning began not with TV, but with words. Words that came from a life lived fully, even if quietly. She wrote about her classroom days, about courage, about joy, about the mistakes and the moments that made her. Soon, children in the park gathered around her to hear her read aloud. They clapped, they laughed, they listened. Then came a call from the local school. A teacher had heard about her. "Would you come speak to our students?" they asked. She said yes. Weeks later, her first story appeared in the school magazine, then another. Then a small book followed, self-published and given to every child who had ever heard her read. Her dream came true, not the way she had planned it in her 20s, but in a way that mattered more. And one day, she looked back at that original list. But this time, she didn't cry, she smiled. because she had learned something. You don't need the perfect time to start living, you just need to start. Too many people wait for the right moment, the perfect chance, the green light from the universe. But here's the truth: time doesn't wait. Life doesn't slow down for our schedules. And dreams, they don't expire, but we might. Eleanor's story is not just hers, it's a reminder for you, for me, for all of us. Don't wait for someday. Start with what you have, right now, right here. Because in the end, the only thing sadder than dreams that never came true is realizing we never even tried.